How's it going, everybody? Hey, Ben, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
Pretty good. Tuesday night, another round of video. I was about to say spitball, but that's Thursday night. On the show yesterday, we talked about movies that were turned into TV shows, and I think I stuffed up by saying Star Trek, which was of course a TV show that was turned into a movie. So let's talk about TV shows turned into movies, and maybe we can also add some TV shows that should be turned into movies.
Hmm, sounds
Well,
good.
the granddaddy of them all, Star Trek. We can piss that off. We won't talk about that one.
No one, no one cared for any of the Star Trek in any iteration, so it's a dead topic.
I guess the one I want to talk about first because it's foremost on my mind is Police Rescue. Do
Right.
you remember
Yeah,
Police Rescue with Gary Sweet?
yeah, I do. I certainly do. It was an ABC series that I refused to watch.
Really, I was obsessed with Police Rescue. It was a procedural cop show for people that don't know, and essentially that department of the police force that rescue people from dangerous situations.
Yep.
And the movie went theatrically. It went to the cinemas, and it was one of the first motion pictures for Kate Blanchett. She played a school teacher in it. Um, Gary
Don't know
Sweet, of
that.
course. Steve Bastoni, I think, was in it.
Steve Bastoni,
Sonia Todd.
Sonia Todd.
Why? Why did you refuse to watch it?
Look, I had the bill. I didn't need police rescue when I had the bill. There's
Fair
only
enough.
there's only room in your heart for one cop show at any given time, and for me, it's always has been, always will be, like the first 15 years of the bill.
What
Once
about?
once they tried to compete with the CSIs and stuff, it turned into a piece of shit. But prior to that,
Talk about
prior to the
a successful, I guess you'd call it police series, would be The Fugitive, which was turned into a very successful film.
it was a cracker of a cracker of a film, and they've just recently done a new. Was that one of the ones that they did?
The
Yeah, it was.
Fugitive,
As in Quibi. Quibi did a I don't know 5-minute episode series of The Fugitive again.
I think there was an actual like full series done recently as well, like 10 episodes, like an event series, if I'm not
Right.
mistaken. But it's been done a few times over the years. But you can't go past that film, and I love the fact that the film then spawned like a spin-off sequel, U.S. Marshals, which I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know why people hate that film as much as they do because I think it's fantastic. I think, Robert Downey Jr. is really good in that one.
yeah. And who's it? But isn't there is that the Wesley Snipes? Is Wesley Snipes the
Hmm.
yeah,
Yep,
the guy
he
there
plays the
they're hunting?
he's the innocent fugitive that
Yeah.
escapes during a plane wreck that tries to outdo the train wreck from the first film.
Right. See, I remember I went to see that film at the cinemas. I went to see it at Village Cinemas in the heart of Melbourne, in the center city there.
Yeah.
And I think possibly the week before at Cinema Nova, I think I had seen The Big Lebowski. And The Big Lebowski had a major effect on me at the time. And this is before it became a cult film. This is when it first came out and no one gave a shit.
Yep.
And I remember loving it. And I went to at that stage, Village in the City had a bar,
Yep.
had like where you could order booze. And I went in there and I was like, oh, can I have a White Russian, please? And the girl did not know what the fuck I was talking about.
It's funny. Black Russian is my drink of choice, but yeah, White
You
Russian's
know, I
alright
was
too.
like I like a bit of Kahlua because
Yeah,
I'm
well,
an
that's
old man at heart.
a
I
Black
like I
Russian
like a
is
drink.
Kahlua.
I like a liqueur that goes in a coffee.
Well, mate, a Black Russian is Kahlua, Coke, and vodka, so it's still Kahlua.
Yeah, it's just
Replace the milk
yeah,
with
that's right.
Coke.
It's milk, isn't it? The White
Yeah,
Russian is just milk instead of
Coke.
Coke.
Yeah. All right, let's go through some others. Well, Bottom. Do you remember Guest House Paradiso?
Yeah, now I love Bottom as a series, and I saw Guest House Paradiso when it came out theatrically, but I didn't
Same.
realize that was a spin-off because I'm sure it's not Eddie Hitler and
No, they are two different characters, but both
it's basically Bottom.
Adrian Adamson. All their characters are basically the same, but Rick Mail and Adrian Adamson said that they wrote it as a Bottom movie,
Right.
and I think it was the fact that he was called Hitler. They just wanted to change it for the film. Is one of them called Twat? I think
I don't know
I,
what Rick Mail's name is in Bottom,
I think it's
unfortunately.
twat because when the guests register in, they say twats, and he goes, "It's thwait," and they're like,
Yeah,
"Twat."
which was his joke from was it the Statesman? Is that what it was called? What was it?
Filthy Rich and Cat Flap.
No. He played Alan Bastard.
Oh, that's right.
As you bastard, Alan. That's Bastard.
I look. That is like that's a really cult film. Like if you watch it back now, you realize the star power that was in that because you had Bill Nye and Simon Pegg. You're like it was just a really outrageous film.
Yeah, I remember thinking it was pretty cool. Like I don't know where it sat on the. Did I like that more than I liked the League of Gentlemen?
I've never been a fan of League of
spin-off
Gentlemen.
movie. Oh my god, really?
Yeah,
I
I
find
don't
that
know
surprising. I love that show. I haven't liked like a lot of their other stuff, but I've always loved League of Gentlemen. And admittedly, the first time I saw the League of Gentlemen, League of Gentlemen's Apocalypse, funnily enough, I think is what it was.
Yeah.
Is the movie is called. I thought it really only had one joke that I could remember at the end of it, which is when the pedophile priest keeps talking about how he likes to back up onto a floppy. They're all like, I bet you do. And that was the only joke I could remember. But going back and watching it again, I was working at the video store when it came out, so I put it on in the shop, despite how grossly inappropriate it was.
Yeah. Maybe it was because I was so taken with Kids in the Hall at the time, and there was a big similarity. They were almost like the British version of that, I guess.
Right, maybe it was Kids in the Hall, like because the thing about League of Gentlemen was that they created that whole fake town.
Yeah, well, actually, Kids in the Hall did a series called Death Comes to Town, where they create a fake town too, and the 5 cast members play every character in the town. But even their movie Brain Candy, it's the same, where they play every single character. And I was so obsessed with them, I think that anything else that came along in a Python-esque style, I just wasn't having a bar of.
Yeah, right.
But what else? Thinking of some popular ones, Serenity, which was the Firefly TV series turned into a film. That was a grouse one. Great movie, great TV series.
Like it. I hope I'm not spoiling anything for anyone, but I feel like it's been 10 years, so if you haven't seen it, tough. But I do like it when they do the spin-off movie and then they kill off in a shocking twist. They kill off a main character, which is great.
Yep, I think they killed off two. They killed off 2 main characters in that film.
They certainly, that's right, they do, and they do it, and it's all the original cast. It's not like they replaced cast members or got someone new to play them.
Yep,
it's the original cast from the show that only you and 5 of your mates loved. And then they kill them off in horrendous ways.
And the fascinating thing is that the reason Joss Whedon created the Serenity theatrical film was because Firefly got cancelled after 1 year, and it did have a massive fan base, or a very loyal fan base. Yeah. And so he created Serenity as a proposal for a follow-up series, and they were going to turn it into Serenity the series, and it never got picked up from there. But the fact that he would kill off 2 major characters with the intention of having a follow-up series was pretty ballsy. Mind you, being sci-fi, you can bring people back anyway.
I mean, I have to say, look, one of the things I loved everything about that show, but I thought I really loved the special effects. I loved how it was, to me, it was like a return to form for a Star Wars: A New Hope, where everything's shit.
Yeah,
like all of the ships have bits falling off them, and they're like, it's all space junk and it's dirty and gritty, and and the special effects really worked.
Yeah,
to that, it was like watching live footage of the lunar missions and stuff like that. Like it had this real kind of like unproduced, not slick kind of production value to it, which really worked for me.
And it presented the galaxy as like a new frontier. Like every planet they landed on was at a different staging kind of evolution, but it was also a different theme. So you might get a Western episode, or you might get a really science fiction-y monster episode. Like it was just a really clever thing. It built upon the legacy of Star Wars and Star Trek, obviously, but it's a shame that one never went any further. X-Files.
It's a shame that he's been cancelled. Otherwise, it would be rife for being picked up by Netflix or
Yeah.
one of these new streaming services looking for content, because I would imagine if they did pick it up, even though everyone in it is much older, like,
They're
but
all up for it
it would
except
still be,
yeah, no,
what are
it's
they all? No, all of them are currently unemployed. Oh well,
he's the
what's her name is in the Rookie at the moment?
he's the poison chalice. You don't go near
Nathan
Joss
Fillion.
Whedon anymore.
Yeah,
But
no,
X-Files spawned two films.
yes,
Two
it
films
did.
I like a lot. I mean, I love the TV series. I think it's fantastic. But
I only ever really watched the first season of the TV show.
when it was episodic, like
When it was,
everyone was
when it
like
was, and that's
a
what I
monster of the
liked.
week. Yeah,
Like, I mean, I did get up to, I got up to Krychek and to John Doggett, who I kind of liked, and if that would have been a spin-off series, the
yeah.
Doggett Files, I probably would have watched that, because I've always kind of liked Robert Patrick.
Well, it
Um,
spawned. It had two. X-Files had two spin-off series or a crossover series with Millennium, which was quite good.
yeah, and
And
I didn't know Millennium was officially like an X-Files spin-off.
no, that's a crossover. So they cross
Right, they did a crossover
Scully
to
and
the
Mulder
universe.
come into that show, and
Yeah.
then Lance Henriksen comes over to X-Files, and then you had the Lone Gunman.
The Lone Gunman, yeah, he's like nerd posse,
Yeah,
which is great.
that was good stuff. Recently you had Downton Abbey. That was a TV show that created a movie, which
Yeah.
is
And Sex and the City has done it too recently. They
yeah.
did two spin-off movies.
Let me run through some and see if they're worth talking about. You had Twilight Zone, Tales from the Crypt, Twin Peaks, kinda, Veronica Mars, Wild Wild West, Leave It to Beaver, and the Beverly Hillbillies were sort of at that '90s point where they were just reviving old stuff. We mentioned that last week.
Yeah,
But then
Garfield, all that
here's
sort
more
of stuff.
interesting is in the last few years they've been turning semi-serious series into comedies like 21 Jump Street and Baywatch, subverting the genre on itself.
Two movies that I loved. I thoroughly enjoyed both Baywatch and 21 Jump Street.
Me too. I think Baywatch was the real surprise for me.
Yeah, I know. I knew the minute they said Alexandra Daddario was going to be in a bikini that I was going to love Baywatch,
Yeah,
and from and I did.
for sure. Here's a story for you. When I went to the premiere of Baywatch in Melbourne, and I'm sure there are people listening who may have been there. It was at Crown Casino. The film was supposed to begin with a live cross to Sydney, where Zac Efron and The Rock were doing a Q&A.
And
So we're sitting there.
I think Alexandra Daddario was there as well.
Yeah, were you at this Melbourne screening?
No.
Well, it was delayed and delayed and delayed. 2 hours we sat there with a blank screen, right? Waiting for this cross. 2 whole hours, right? And obviously everybody's getting real pissed off. So what was their solution? Somebody must have run down to bloody Toys R Us or Myer or something and bought inflatable beach balls, right? So suddenly someone from like Village Roadshow or whoever it was comes bounding into the theater with about 20 beach balls and just bounces them into the audience, and then became like a feeding frenzy. You know, goldfish when they get like the fucking beach balls going everywhere. It was insanity. And then for the movie to start 2 hours late or 2.5 hours late, and everybody stuck around and loved every second of it. Like, that's a testament to the film right there.
Yeah, I remember they had for Bad Neighbours. They did the same thing. It was at the premiere was at Melbourne Central,
Yeah.
and they had two girls jelly wrestling in this weird crystalline. It wasn't real jelly. It was this weird stuff that they now apparently is what you wrestle in if you're going to do jelly wrestling. And then they had that, and like the film, it's filled with critics and stuff who were like totally freaked out by this display.
Yeah.
And then they had a couple of promo models in like, a guy with his shirt off and board shorts and a girl kind of in a bikini, and they're tossing a beach ball kind of at each other. And then and no one is going anywhere near them. They're alone.
Yeah.
And then the pizza comes out, the free pizza that they brought for the premiere.
The desperation kicks in.
The critics and the whoever else was there, the competition winners and stuff, streamlined for the pizza. And the only people not going anywhere near the pizza are the two promotional models who obviously can't eat shit like that and maintain their six packs. And they're
Oh
just like
man.
standing there with stunned belief that they've been ignored. It's literally probably the only time in their lives where people that good looking have been completely ignored by everybody there.
He's standing there like this, like watching everyone walk past him.
And no one cares about your flex, mate. And I remember watching Anthony Ganane was there, and I watched him walk past the jelly wrestling, and some of it splattered on him.
Oh.
The look on his face, hilarious.
Oh mate.
Australia's
That.
Warren Perso.
Well, there we go. We could mention things like the Flintstones and Get Smart and what else have I got
Get
here?
Smart movie was all right.
Yeah, I like that. That had a spin-off as well.
Oh yeah, the
two bumbling guys.
two,
What was it
yeah,
called? Out of Control. Lloyd and something.
it's their whatever their name was. It's was it
Ah,
Hero from
what was it called?
Heroes.
Bruce and Lloyd Out of Control.
Yeah.
And it had like cameos from everybody in the film. Actually, let's just explain it for people. The movie Get Smart, the remake with Steve Carell and Anne Hathaway, came along. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, at the same time, they were making this sort of bonus content DVD movie, you know, which was these two characters from the film, but this separate movie was taking place behind the scenes of Get Smart. So when you watch it when it arrives on home video, DVD, what they're doing, the actual film's taking place behind them.
Yeah.
It's very clever. And then you get all of these cameos from within the film. So Patrick Warburton and Anne Hathaway pop up in this movie, but Steve Carell was, too up himself to do it, which was a shame. But I was surprised at how genuinely funny that was.
I think it all basically comes from Austin Powers. When he does that joke with the henchman joke, like whoever cares about the life of a henchman.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that's kind of spawned a lot.
And I think it's in ways they kind of maybe even in the late 90s when Disney were doing those like Lion King 3, Little Mermaid 3 type movies where it was all taking place concurrently, with the film.
Well, I think most of those were made here. Those low rent Disney.
But they were always
third and fourth iterations were actually being animated here in Australia.
But they were always kind of being a little bit clever by being a sequel within the original film.
Yeah.
And anyway, that was like a really clever way to make an entire movie basically for free because they're already making the major one.
Yeah.
They should do that more often and just whack it as a supplementary feature on the DVDs.
You could always use more extra features on the DVD.
Yeah,
always.
Absolutely. All right. Well, that's about it. I think I need some food. So I'll catch you on the next video.
Sweet.